gently all the way back. So let your muscles take a moment to adjust. Nice and comfortable laying back. And then start to explore with a nice deep breath. So imagine first you're inflating the high chest area. And a nice exhale. And the next breath, try to inflate through high and middle chest. And the third one, imagine you're breathing all the way into belly, sending oxygen clear down to hips. Notice how taking that extra moment to just send the breath a little lower is super refreshing for the body, refreshing for the mind. There's certain habits that refresh us, like for me, taking a shower first thing in the morning helps to wake me up, helps to refresh me, helps me to feel like I'm ready to meet my day. And so for me, that's what this deep, deep belly breath is. A lot of our practice today will be about the hips, imagining we're trying to refresh the hips. And so that first way that we're refreshing it is by trying to imagine we're breathing clear down all the way into the hip area. So let's take 3 more huge breaths, trying to get all the way to hips. Nice relaxing exhale. Imagine that breath like a refreshing beverage. Take 1 more huge cycle like that. Deep inhale. Long exhale. Good. And so from here, with that idea of hips refreshing, to start us off, let's take the knees into the chest, a hand on each knee. And as we're moving around, use it as an opportunity to do a first check-in with the hips. At this moment, how do they feel? Beautiful. So we'll start off with a couple of good hip openers just to get us kicked off. So the knees go wide. Let's slip up to happy baby pose. Hands trying to reach for feet. If not, grab for shins. Your choice in the quality. You could be in stillness, in movement, in extension and bending. It's whatever feels useful. Then as the hands release the feet, we're taking it into figure 4, right ankle to left thigh. Set up the hug around left. From one hip stretch to the next, notice how begin to notice how many connections there are leading up to hips. So in this moment, we're experiencing outer hips. In other poses, we'll have kind of the inner thigh connections. Other moments we'll experience more of the hamstring, back of thigh area connecting to hips, or front of thigh, the quads, or even the back muscles. So much is connecting up to the hips. The hips are so vital. And if they get tight, everything feels tight. So now we're shifting even deeper to IT band. So arms open out on the floor, spreading to figure T. And leave the legs in this crossed unit, they fall over to left. I love this one for how that outer thigh stretch is just so deep. There's only a handful of poses that get right into that area. So just experience that for a moment. Deep inhale, exhale. As we uncross the ankle, send it into just a normal twist. So both knees stacking, the knees heading over to this left side. Take a deep belly breath like we were practicing with first. Huge inhale. Relaxing exhale. Good. So hips return to floor. Take it to another happy baby pose. Grounding feet. Knees go wide. And notice, especially in that right hip, notice if anything's different than it was previously. Lots of sensations going on. Then figure 4, left ankle to right thigh, set up the hug. Breathing space into this area. The arms start to spread open. We take the cross ankle twist, both legs falling over to right in the unit that they're in. One more breath flows in and out. Uncross ankle, we're in the twist. So now when hips return to ground, another happy baby. Now that everything's back to good balance, notice once again, is there any experience that feels a bit different than before? When we're ready to release hands, the feet plant for bridge pose. So planting close to glutes, hands slide in right next to the hips. Roll the hips all the way up high. If possible, try to clasp hands under back, even walking shoulders under if you can. Keep the knees squeezed slightly in. Try to keep pressing feet into ground to lift the hips up. And let's take 3 breaths, imagining we're breathing clear down to the hips. One more inhale. And exhale, the hands release. Roll the hips back down. The hands clasp behind the head. The legs are going to do bicycles, helping to warm those hips up. So one leg circles up, down, and then as it starts to bend in, we switch legs. If you'd like to add in a twist as well, the knee that's in, twist opposite elbow to it. So adding in a slight oblique action as well. Absolutely fine if you're going faster or slower. But I'm going to do a countdown here from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Releasing the head. Drop the feet back down. This time heel toe them about as wide as the mat. Take a few windshield wipers. So both knees fall left, both knees fall to the right. We're starting to experience new points of connection into the hip area. So the next time the knees fall to left, stay. Option to take left ankle to right thigh, but drop it back down if that bugs the knees or the hip. So left ankle to right. One more inhale here, deep into belly and hip area. Nice exhale. And do a few bonus windshield wipers before we switch sides. So just nice and loose in between, any of that tightness exiting. Good, and then when the knees fall over to right next, stay. Option to take right ankle to that left thigh. One more inhale. Exhale, release. Again, a few bonus windshield wipers. Just nice and easy. It gets to the point where it feels like the hips are a bit more refreshed after that. We're heading up to a comfortable seated place. However you'd like to join in. Eventually, bottoms of feet come together, knees open. Let's take it into cobbler. Nice and relax. Let the head relax over. We'll start to experience some of those muscle connections from the back to the hips. So use the hands on the floor and then just nice and easy, walk the hands a bit further over to the right. So you can experience the left low back area connecting to the hips. We'll start to make our way over to the left. Then returning back through the center. Give the spine a couple more breaths, seeing if it can relax just a bit deeper. Good, so rising up, let's allow both legs to open out nice and wide. And we're reaching the hands forward and through. Starting to feel how the hamstrings connect up to that area as well. Sometimes I'll let the spine try to straighten just a bit more. And then let it tilt just a bit deeper. Last 3 breaths. Okay, after all 3, we're rising back up. The legs swing underneath us. Let's head into a couple of cat cows. The spine round up. Belly drops down. Notice if you can experience the cat-cow helping out all areas of the hips. So oftentimes we don't pay attention to how that low back is experiencing the cat-cow. But today, really try to tilt that sacrum to the extreme tucked in, to the extreme arched back. 2 more. that second one. Spine is back at neutral. We're going to think of that cat-cow motion while we're going back and forth between cobra and child pose. So when we're coming forward to cobra, think of cat. We're tilting forward, and then the head unravels the very last. And then keep the arch in the spine as you pull back into child. And so that's like the cow. So then round back up, head coming up laster, the cobra, and arch back to the child. Imagine somebody's pushing your hips forward and down, and then grabbing your hips, pulling them back. So hips are really the thing that's leading us here. The rest of the spine is just kind of in response to it. Another 3. And back. 2. And back. And last one. When we head back to child pause, just a few breaths longer. Let the hips really try to relax back into that shape. One more deep inhale. Exhale. You rise up to downward facing dog. Add little movements that feel helpful for body. And from here, right leg starts to float up to sky. Bend the knees and the toes behind you, opening up through the front part of the hip a bit. Just one breath there. With the exhale, step that right foot in between hands. The back knee, we're just gently lowering onto it for this first one. And so from here, as we're sinking hips forward, the idea is we're trying to stretch through the front of the left hip. So you could do that from hands on the ground. If you're walking hands up to the thigh, you have to make sure that the hips are still sinking forward, so you're filling front of left hip stretching. So you can go up as high as you'd like to experience front of left hip. Even kind of lifting heart up and back a bit could be helpful. And one more breath in. And exhale into half split. The front leg scoots forward. Let the heart start to relax down to thigh. If the heart can relax even deeper by this point, muscles are a little bit more at ease in it. Okay, now this right foot slides back close to where the front of this other knee is. We're tucking the back toes and trying to sit our glutes back onto that left heel for a nice foot stretch. So if some of the weight needs to still be forward, that's fine. Taking the weight all the way up would be a bit deeper for that left foot. Give that area a couple of good breaths. One more inhale. Exhale, send yourself forward enough to just roll out through the toes. And then tuck those left toes. We're sending ourselves back into a quadricep stretch. So you're sitting on the back foot and scooting the foot off to the side. Right leg will slide straight out in front of us. From here, you choose how deep you need to go to help that left quad be in the stretch. If you need to let the knee go wider, that's a way to relieve some pressure on the knee. You might be coming back to hands. You might be dropping down to one or both elbows with a little tailbone scoop. You could lay all the way back as long as it doesn't hurt the knee. So just go as deep as your quad is happy with. Experiencing even deeper through the front of the hip connection. Earlier, we focused on the psoas through the lunge part. Now quad pulls it even more. Good, one more inhale. Exhale. Reverse everything you did to get into this. So if you went to all the way down, get to elbows and then hands, free up the left knee. The foot is rotating open, coming to thigh. And then we're taking a nice hamstring stretch. So circle up to sky, inhale. Exhale, tilt forward over that right leg. One more belly, try to breathe into the hips. Nice exhale. And then easy roll up. We're heading back to hands and knees. So walk the hands a little bit further forward than normal. We're going to take another 3 of those cobra to child. So round the spine up as you start to shift forward. Head rolls up flat, unraveling. And then the arched spine gets pulled back into child. 2 more. Start by rounding up. Slide forward, unravel. And pull back to child when you're there. 1 more. Good. Whenever you finish, you're in that last child pose. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog, maybe some wiggling of the legs again. Left leg will start to float up high. Step left foot in between hands, then softly lower the back knee to the floor. Hips start to sink forward so we can experience the front of the right thigh and hip. Maybe you stay here, maybe you start walking hands up thigh. Just keep pressing the hips forward. Even heart lifting could pull those muscles a bit long. One more inhale. Exhale back to half split, straight leg, drop hands down. Heart continues to try to loosen its way down. As we're a couple of breaths into this, sometimes by this point, the muscles are willing to relax a bit more. So maybe you allow chest to drop even deeper down. Good. So preparing for the right toe stretch, slide the left foot in much closer. Tuck the right toes and then send some of your weight back onto that foot. Maybe you're still kind of leaning forward on the floor. Maybe you're coming more upright. One more inhale. Exhale, lean forward enough to point the right toes, circle them out. Then keep them pointed as we're stepping our way back. Left leg straightens. We're preparing for quad stretch. So, yep, make sure the knee on that right side is doing okay. If you want to just lean back, that's fine. Drop to elbows is fine. Tailbone scoop is fine. Find the amount that's going to be helpful. One more deep inhale. Exhale, reverse your way up. Swivel this right leg open, foot to thigh. Circle up to sky, lengthen the spine. Exhale, reach forward and through. Next inhale, lengthen back up. Cross the legs, try to roll up onto hands and knees again. 3 more cycles. Spine rounds up to take full breath. Hips arch us back into the child. When you're ready, 2. And back. And 1. Eventually back. Whenever you finish, downward facing dog. I'm enjoying this, pedaling legs, anything that feels good, you're welcome to take until eventually you're ready to be up at top of mat. So if you take a bonus breath, let it flow in, out, then inhale, rise. Exhale, hands down to heart. The right hand drops to right thigh, left hand circles up and over. Imagine experiencing the connection of to the hip through the side boots. You stretch that area out. One more inhale. Exhale, rise, switch sides. Sideways, pulling into the and rise. Bring the feet about as wide as mat, toes turning out. We're taking Malasana. If you need to sit on block instead, that's fine, or stay in a high squat, that's fine. If you're doing the full Malasana, we're all the way down, low squat. Pressing elbows into knees, and think of the spine trying to lengthen. Experience the hips getting open in this direction. And send another deep belly breath all the way down into hips. Imagine it. Beautiful. So when hands drop down, straighten the legs, turn the toes forward. Nice inhale here. Exhale. Leave the left foot, the right foot slides to back of mat. We're taking lizard. So you could choose to stay up high. This is a more active version. Could go for more of a passive stretch by dropping the back knee and or dropping elbows. More inhale. Exhale, back up to hands. Lift up the back knee. We're stepping right foot forward and left foot back. So same thing, second side. You could be active, you could be passive. More about strength, more about flexibility, your choice. One more breath all the way into belly, all the way into hips. Easy exhale. Come up to hands. Lift up the back knee, slide left foot forward. From here, sit the hips back, flatten the spine forward like a squat, and then straighten the legs down forward. We're going to repeat that 4, set the hips back, and then straighten them back up. 3, 2, and 1. From here, start to walk the hands over toward the right foot, even maybe to the outside edge of the foot. And walk your way over to left. Back through center. Next inhale to rise. Exhale, hands down to heart. Good. The feet come right underneath us. We're standing on right foot. Trying to take left ankle to right thigh. Figure 4. If you get there, standing leg bends. You could be balancing hands at heart, or maybe you're helping the hip out even more by trying to push left hand into left knee, getting that side to droop down just a little bit more. More inhale. Exhale, we're rising with this bent left knee. The left knee tries to do 3 circles each direction. Circle up and around. 2, 1, reverse. 3, 2, 1. Step the left foot down, second side. So right ankle, figure 4. Bending standing leg, it creates the shell. Maybe we can push the right hand into the right knee, helping that hip out even more. One more breath into hips. Exhale. Standing balance. Good. Use arms however you need. Here's 3, 2, 1, and then reverse. 3, 2, 1. Standing on right foot. Float the left knee. We're trying to twist, so right hand goes to the outer thigh, behind us. Good. Return forward. Pick back warrior 3. Soft land warrior 1. Arms sweep up. Inhale. Exhale, hands flat on the floor. This front leg is going to try to straighten the best that it can from this spot. Repeating that slowly. 5. And back to bend. 4, going straighter. And bend. 3, 2, last 1. And when it goes back to the bent shape, sweep the arms to sky warrior 1, inhale. Open up warrior 2, exhale. Just one breath here. And then rotate the back foot open. We're facing the long edge for goddess. We're in the squat, toes are open, 45-degree angles. So when we straighten the legs up, the hands rise up, reaching to sky like a star. Inhale. Exhale, bend down goddess, the hands lower. Repeating that 4, reach, and squat down. 3, 2, 1. As the hands drop down, stay, lean forward to press the knees even wider. Good. So legs straighten out, turn the toes forward to long edge. Wide angle forward fold, start to drop down. Walk hands over to the right foot. We're either bending that knee for a high side lunge or dropping down to the low side lunge, your choice. The quality is also your choice. So you could stay in a balancing shape, maybe hands up to heart. You could drop down, even leaning forward. So find the quality that's working for your hips today. It's okay. Just one breath on this side. Good, that's okay. And start to switch. Left leg. More breath. Deep inhale. Exhale. Back up to wide angle forward fold. Try to release the spine just a bit deeper. Just one more breath. Exhale. Deep into the knees. Roll the spine up to standing. As we turn the front toes forward, face that side. Warrior one, the front knee is bent. Inhale. Exhale. Those fingers find the floor. Float the left foot up high. And then left knee is going to tap the back of right knee. Tapping for 5, and then straighten both legs back up. And 4. And extend. 3. 2. 1. Beautiful. And drop down, forward fold. Take a bonus inhale. Exhale. Inhale, rise. Hands down to heart. Good. So for the second side, we're standing on left foot. The right knee floats. Left hand to that right thigh. Try to twist over. Beautiful. Facing forward. Take back warrior 3. Soft land warrior 1. Arms sweep up briefly. Inhale. Exhale. Hands to the floor. Front leg goes as straight as it can. It's okay if it's still a little bit. And back to the initial point. And repeating 4. Straighten. And bend. 3. 2. 1 more. Good. When the knees back to bend, sweep the arms up, warrior 1. Inhale. Exhale, warrior 2. Just one breath here. And turn open, goddess. So arms lift, legs straighten. And coming down, 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Hands stay on the knees. Press them wide. Good. Straighten the legs, turn the toes forward. Wide angle forward fold, maybe a new arm position. Let's go close to left foot. One more time, high or low side lunge. Choose the quality again. Maybe leaning forward, maybe balancing. Switching to the second leg. Okay, back up. One last forward fold. Choose your quality. Maybe, for instance, reaching hands through an inch deeper than before. Good. Deep bend to knees. Roll the spine up. As front toes turn forward, we're facing forward warrior one, bend knee. And cartwheel the hands down to the floor, float right leg. Like a squat tap, we're tapping right knee to back of left and extension. Repeating 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Land the foot down. So forward, fold at top. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands plant. Slide the feet back. Your choice, child's pose, down dog, or a flow. Whatever feels good at this point in class. So softly lower to knees. We're taking one camel pose, trying to imagine we're pushing the hips so far forward, we're stretching the front of the hips again. Perhaps tuck the toes for those couple of inches. Hands to the low back, push the hips forward, heart lifts. If this is where we're going to stay to start feeling that front of hip stretch, stay here. If you're dropping hands to heels, keep pushing hips forward as if somebody grabbed the hips and pulled them. Good, just one more inhale. Exhale, easy up, chin, hands to the low back. Good, and we'll take it to pigeon pose for a nice recovery for the back. So if you like to transition from down dog, and then slide the right leg under and through, that would be fine. You're welcome to go straight to sleeping pigeon, or perhaps you have left hand grabbing left foot for a couple of breaths. Doing that quad stretch one more time. Maybe eventually release and relax to sleeping. Imagine the tremendous variety of muscles, tendons, ligaments, everything that's connected around the hip area. And imagine as we move through class, any pose that activated a muscle group and pulled this tendon here, imagine that kind of lit a light. So just imagine now, having been at the end of class, imagine all those lights lit right up around the hip area. So much energy going on in this area. But here we are just breathing, helping to refresh all of that. So just one more huge breath cycle. Nice inhale. Easy exhale. We'll come to a recovery pose. You could go to a down dog shape and wiggle the hips. You could come to a kneeling shape, doing hip circles. So either way, hips get a little bit of movement. All the way until you're ready for left leg to come under and through. So doing the same thing we did on the first side. If you grab the toes, this time it's right hand to right foot. Give the quad a couple of breaths. Eventually, if you'd like to release to sleeping pigeon, you're absolutely welcome. Imagine visualizing all the lights on this path. And it's like the deeper we breathe into the hip area, imagine the lights changing colors. So for Perhaps you imagine it first as a heart color, that light that's turned on. And maybe you try to soften the color with your breath. Still lit up, but much more refreshed rather than intense. Let's take one more deep inhale. Nice exhale. Beautiful. Another recovery pose. So it could be the down dog one more time. It could be the kneeling with the hip circles. Just enjoy a couple of breaths. Good. Eventually dropping down to a kneeling place. Let's float the right hand up to sky. And as we thread this right shoulder down to ground, imagine trying to release all the back so far that it pulls gently into the hips. Your choice perhaps to take left hand up to top right corner of mat, or maybe to wind it around low back. Feel the hips, all those connections getting another light engagement. One more inhale. Exhale, left hand slides in front of face, press into it. Take a cat and a cow before we switch. Resetting spine, resetting hips. Good. And then left hand reaches up high to thread under and through. Make sure to feel the low back just relaxing down with gravity. Maybe right hand walks to top left corner. Maybe it winds around low back. And 2 more breaths. Right hand slides in front of face, press into it. Take one more cat and cow. And then transition to a comfortable seated place. Right leg crossed in front or right shin on top. So bring the left hand onto the right knee. And then slide the left hand to that diagonal forward. And return up. Switch the legs, left crossed in front or stacked on top. Right hand on that left knee, slide to the diagonal. And rise up. One last cobbler pose. Maybe the feet are close to pelvis, maybe they're a bit further. Release the spine forward one more time. One last skip to those hips. And as we rise up, let's float the knees, planting feet, engage the core to roll onto back. Once you're on your back, listen for the last poses that might feel good. So maybe another final happy baby, maybe a twist or a plow pose, all sorts of options. Do any last movements that feel really helpful for the hip area, helping to refresh that area, helping it to feel good and complete in the practice. No rush to be in Shavasana, just when you're ready. We're here for several more minutes. Just imagine sending breath all the way down to hips. Here, begin to deepen the inhales. Deepen the exhales. Introduce little movements back to fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Stretching out in ways that feel really good for the body. Perhaps So eventually taking a comfortable fetal position off to one side. Here, enjoy maybe 2 or 3 good relaxing breaths until you feel ready to rise sooner or later. As we join our hands together in front of heart, mentally return back to the hips. Think of all those muscles and ligaments and tendons that connect right up to the hips. And just take a deep breath, breathing all the way to hips. With all the movement that we've done, we realize how much the hips are interconnected with all parts of our body. And so as we consciously work today on refreshing them, helping them to feel good and relaxed, we recognize that that naturally will help to refresh the rest of our system, help us feel like we can take on the day just a bit better. So with this thought to help lead us on, let's wrap up the time we shared together with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. Om. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.